Hi, my name is Mary Goldner, and I'm a music teacher at Stewart Elementary in Kemah, Texas. Stewart Elementary is in Clear Creek ISD. Our student population is 822 students. We have the grade levels early childhood pre-K all the way up to 5th grade. Our student ethnic makeup would be 3.3% African American, 60.1% Hispanic, 32.2% white, 0.2% American Indian, and 1% Asian. Our student socioeconomic makeup is 58.4% economically disadvantaged, 41.6% non-educationally disadvantaged, and our ELL, our English language learner population, is 44.8%, and our at-risk students are 59.1%. Our faculty is made up of 67 different faculty members. Our ethnic makeup for our faculty is 2.2% African American, 1% Asian, 21% white, 22% Hispanic. Our faculty range in years of experience is 0 to 20 plus years. The average teacher at Stewart Elementary has 8 years of experience. When it comes to our academic issues of concern, science is where we need the most improvement. Our test scores were lower than our math and our reading scores. Even though the science test scores were still very competitive with where we need to be, it was our lowest for our school. As far as our cultural and social issues of concern, our students and faculty are still adjusting and recovering from Hurricane Harvey. We did have over 250 families affected at my school. Our cafeteria was flooded. And so right now, that is the area of concern because there's still people that are misplaced, not living in their home. They still have needs when it comes to clothing and food and school supplies. So that would be our issue of concern that we're dealing with right now. As far as the field activity, basically, I decided to go with the campus vision scenario for my participating video. I am passionate about vision. I think vision is important as a teacher, as a leader, to know where you're going, what direction, and how to get there. I think that's very important to cast a vision to your faculty and to motivate them to follow the vision with you. So vision is what I went with. The summary, I guess, of my discussion with my mentor is we agreed that vision was very important. I interviewed my mentor as my administrator, so she is in the interviews. Then the two teachers that I interviewed, one is a teacher that teaches 2nd grade, and she hasn't been on the committee to come up with the campus vision. She wasn't part of that committee, but she's a teacher that follows the vision, that is motivated by the leadership to follow the vision, so I wanted to get her perspective. The other teacher is a 3rd grade teacher, and she was actually part of the committee that, I guess it was last spring, they revised the campus vision, they changed the wording, and she was part of that committee. And that was really interesting because I didn't even realize that till I was interviewing her. And it was very valuable to have that insight. And the reason I went with those two teachers is right now they have student teachers, so their schedule is more flexible. They could meet with me during my conference time to do those videos, and my principal suggested that that would be a good time to do them. And since they have a student teacher, that worked out really good. Let's see. As far as the professional dress, 2 of the videos I'm in professional dress and my administrator and the other teacher are in professional dress. The other video had to be rescheduled a few times because the teacher was sick, and then the day that we rescheduled it, the night before, my principal made that a jeans and school shirt day. So in that video, you will see me wearing jeans and a school shirt, as well as the teacher that I'm interviewing. And that was a last minute change on my principal's part because of a character rally that we had going on that day. And so I hope that you will understand why we're dressed that way. But we went ahead and went on with the video because that was really the only time that we could do it. The purpose of the interviews was just to find out where they are on campus vision, to find out what they understand about it, where they can find it, is it clear, do parents know, what's their perspective when it comes to their students, to just get kind of a feel for, does our campus really know what our campus vision is? Do they understand it? Is it part of what they're doing every day as teachers? And my administrator interview was very good because she's very clear about the vision and she integrates it into everything we do. However, she did see through the interview that maybe it's not as easily accessible as she would like it. And so she's going to work on getting it on our newsletter and different places like that. As far as who should be interviewed, I did the teachers that I mentioned that have student teachers so that their schedule was flexible. The interviews were scheduled during the day, and that worked out with everybody's schedule because of the student teaching situation. As far as what materials did I need, I used my classroom, which I'm in right now, for 2 of the interviews. And then I used my principal's office for 1 of the interviews. And then I just needed my questions that I was asking. I took notes as I was interviewing them. And then I just needed the camera to do the actual videotaping. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Moses, for interviewing with me today. If you could tell us just a little bit about your position and what you do on campus.
Okay, so I'm the principal here at Stewart Elementary. This is my 10th year as principal at Stewart. I had the privilege of teaching here before, and then I was an assistant principal and a district coordinator for the district. But I love being at Stewart.
Awesome. And can you tell me what the campus vision statement is?
Yes, so in Clear Creek ISD we have what we call a strategic plan, and that's what we operate on. In 2014, the district started this process, and I was blessed to be a part of the district process. So when we were bringing it down to the campus level, I'd already experienced kind of the district side. I led a committee of community members and CCISD staff members to create that set of beliefs and then mission statements, and then we specifically worked on the 7 strategies that would help us kind of carry out that mission of the district. And so then right after that, like 2014-15 is when we began the process here at Stewart. And so we invited teachers to be a part of that, and then we had a couple of parents who were involved, like as community members and parents, to be a part of that planning process. And so there were 2 teams. The first team helped create the mission statement and kind of what we were all about here at Stewart. And then the second team took that, they had developed specific objectives, and the second team took that and kind of put the feet on that specific mission. So, all right, so how are we going to make sure this happens? So our mission statement here at Stewart, and we just did a revision last spring, so May of 2017, because you kind of think, oh, we just did that, but really 2014-15, that was about 2 years ago. So we made a few tweaks, but our new statement is the mission of LeVay Stewart Elementary, the facilitators of leaders with character, is to ensure personalized learning, promote core values, and cultivate positive relationships through collaboration, communication, commitment to meaningful learning for each student in a safe and nurturing environment. And so really you kind of see those 3 components that pull down into our objectives. And so we have 3 objectives that we're working on. And then the first one, so it really hones in on that personalized learning. And then the core values component, which is one of the things that we revised. So we're not so specific in calling it core values. We called it leadership back in 14-15. But we changed that verbiage to really match where we're going in our learning and moving forward with core values and the character part.
Right.
And then the third one is those positive relationships. So really working on making sure we're committed to our parents and students and community and getting them involved.
Awesome, thank you. And does our campus have a written vision statement?
Yes.
So yes, what you just mentioned. Mm-hmm. And where can we find that located?
So the mission statement and the objectives and tactics are on the website. So that's kind of the public place that it's located. And then at the start of every year, like when I meet with our PTA, they meet monthly and I meet with them. Mm-hmm. Then I share that with them. And then as far as our community, we have really good working relationships with like the Lions Club, Elks Lodge. Our mayor is very supportive. And so not so formally, like I don't give them this piece of paper, but they always ask me, so what are you working on this year? And so I kind of go through those main three components. And then the next question they always ask us is, okay, so how can we help you? And then with teachers, we talk about this like when we come back each year. We usually start our year typically by reading an article that has to do with something. So for this year, we're really focusing on goal setting, which is under that personalized learning. The last couple of years, we focused on voice and choice in the classroom.
Right.
And so with teachers, we try to make it, or I try to make it as real as possible, because teachers are the hardest working people in the building. And so we really have to think about how does this big vision statement really impact what I'm doing. And so this year we did a lot of focus on that goal setting, and then of course our character values. And so you were part of that committee last year that's piloted that, and so that was a really great thing. And now we're really pushing it out through the whole entire school.
Right.
So.
And I know, like, as teachers, we've been really excited about the classroom meetings. And we've been incorporating, even in music, we've been incorporating that into what we do, and the kids have been really excited about it.
We found that, kids just want to talk, and when they feel connected, it kind of goes back to the training that we have with Tony Dalla, that that part of the brain, like if they feel safe, then it opens the door to really learning.
Right, and that goes back to the building relationships, the positive.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. And who do you feel should be involved in reviewing or developing a campus vision statement?
So for our process, we had definitely teachers, and then a couple of the parents, community members. A couple of them served dual roles, but I would like for in the future to be able to include a student potentially.
Okay.
I think that would be a really great way of getting that kind of student voice in there. It's a little bit trickier at the elementary level because we serve such young students, ages 3 to our 5th graders are 11, and so really you have to think about who that right kid would be that could be articulate and think not just about themselves, but as a whole to represent. But I would love to do that the next time we, revise.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I'd love to see that. Do you think that the development of a campus vision is a shared responsibility, and who shares the responsibility?
Absolutely. So, for me, like, I could get up there and say this is what we're going to do, but if there's not an ownership, and that really goes with anything, but especially with the vision and kind of where the campus is going, if teachers don't buy into it and feel like I was a part of this decision, and that's why I thought it was so important for that committee last year, like with the character part of our mission statement, to really kind of have input, and they tried it out for a whole semester. Any bumps we ran into, we refined that. But, I could get up there and say it, and we're going to do it, and some will because they love it and that's what they want to do. But if it's not something that they feel like they're a part of, then to me that's a breakdown. And so to me it's really, really important that it is a shared responsibility, of course, when we were writing this back in 14, 15, you know, I always told them, okay, if I feel
Right.
like we're veering off as the principal, I'm gonna get us back in the right direction. So it's
Right.
not totally hands-off for me, but it's more in, you know, guiding and being there to
Right.
support their thoughts. But to me, it's crucial. We have, right at 70-ish, like teachers and paraprofessionals. And so when you get that many people in the building, it's really important to tap into the ideas that they have. I
Right.
mean, it's much better than just me, so.
And I thought it was great because those teachers that kind of piloted the character ideas, they were excited, and that excitement I thought was very
Then it
contagious.
multiplies, yeah.
Yes, definitely. What do you feel the vision statement means?
So when we went back in 17, and I'll try to find you the first version that we had in
Okay.
14, 15, it was really wordy.
Okay.
And I didn't feel like like I read it to you, or if you read it yourself, it's one of those things that you almost had to like, hang on, let me read that again.
Mm-hmm.
And we wanted to revise it in such that it was very clear that we knew, hey, these are the things we're working on. We're working on personalized learning, core
Right.
values, positive relationships. So for me, it just means it kind of sets the tone for where we're going. And, you know, vision or mission is that. It needs to be, okay, in 2 to 3 years, where do we hope we need to be?
Right.
And that's why we had to revise it, because when we wrote it and we looked back this spring, we were like, oh, wait a minute, I don't think we knew what we were,
Right.
we wrote so far ahead, we didn't really know where we were going. And so we tweaked like words like leadership and made that say core values.
Right.
So that's.
Okay, awesome. And do you know where a student, faculty member, or parent can get a copy of the written campus vision statement? I know you mentioned it was on the website.
Right.
Are there any other locations, or is that pretty much where you would steer
No, but
people?
you know, thinking about it, I'm thinking we could probably PDF this and put it on there. There's no reason we couldn't. So that might be something
Okay.
good that we could do. For teachers, you know, I usually provide them one copy, but you know, I don't know that it's saved. It is available in our It's Learning
Okay.
course. But again, I don't know that that's something that teachers just go back and say, oh, let me read the vision
Right,
statement.
right.
But to me, that's why we have to continually talk about it.
Right.
And then sometimes you'll hear me reference back, remember, this is one of our goals in our strategic
Right.
plan. This is why we're doing this. But, you know, and for me, I have to not deviate or veer off and say, oh, well, I think we'll do, you know, now we'll talk about grit and
Right.
go a different way.
Right.
I have to make sure everything we do is aligned to the PL, the initiatives, you know, that we're pushing
Right.
out. It has to be totally in line. And so then that's when it becomes the living document.
Right.
It's nice on this piece of paper, but unless we're really doing it,
Right.
it
Exactly.
doesn't come to life. So.
Right. And I know, like, at many staff meetings, you're reminding us about personalized learning, about goal setting, so it's just constantly on our mind,
Something
which
we
is
talk
great.
about. Yeah.
And I loved on the website how it was right there, and then the core values were right under it. So
Mhm.
I think when parents are searching our school, even if they're prospective parents, it's
Right.
very, very clear. How does the campus use innovative thinking as a learning experience to promote the campus vision?
So one of the things that we did last year was really talk about choice in the classroom. And so a couple things really stand out to me. So that can be really scary for teachers, because in their mind they kind of think choice means, hey, free for all, do what you
Right.
want. In actuality, it's not. It's very guided by the teacher. But until you get those teachers who are willing to try it and do it.
Right.
And so we had 2 instances that I think really kind of capture that, somebody that was willing to take that risk and be innovative. One was Katie Townsend. She was a 5th grade teacher, and she said, you know, you've been talking about choice a lot. I see that, you know, flexible seating is a part of choice. Would you support me? I said, absolutely, please go and do it. Whatever you need, I will help make sure you get it. So she was the first teacher that kind of went out there and did it. And now if you look across our building, we've got
Mhm.
wobble stools everywhere. We've got the little
Mhm.
low seating. And so she just kind of took that chance, but she was very thoughtful, and she and I met together several times to talk about, okay, what would this look like in a 5th grade classroom?
Right.
How are we going to roll it out? You can't just all of a sudden have traditional seating and then now everybody, what procedures are going to be in
Right.
place. And then, I don't know if you remember, but we had her present,
Mhm.
then at a faculty meeting, just say, hey, look at this is how it's going in my classroom. And then right after that meeting, 5 people, oh, I want to do that too. Fantastic. And so it just kind of started spreading.
Right.
And then this year we have a lot of teachers who are trying it out, which I think is
Right.
fantastic. So because one person took that
Yes.
step. And then the other part was our 1st grade teachers then really started thinking about what does it mean for goal setting for a 6-year-old? How can
Right.
what are we already doing that we can help teach them? And so they started creating like station sheets that said, I need to accomplish in 2 weeks 10 stations, what's my goal? How am I going to do this? And so, it wasn't complex, but
Right.
it was very appropriate for a 6-year-old. And so then they could take that, so then those station sheets went home, and then at the end they had to be reflective. Did I meet my goal? What type of worker was I?
Right.
So then that folded in the core values. Was I responsible? Was I
Right.
dedicated? Did I finish my work?
That was a great idea.
Yeah, so
I love it.
so then 2nd grade saw it, and then kindergarten saw it, and so it kind of went, but because one
Yeah.
team, one person stepped out there.
Right. Funny story with the flexible seating. I went to my son's high school open house like a week ago. And he's like, Mom, you gotta see my class. We do this really cool thing. And it was flexible seating. So she had like all kinds of different chairs. It almost looked like a house.
Was it a
the
science
way-
teacher?
It was. Do you know
I
her?
took Katie Townsend to her classroom.
Okay.
Because I had seen it, and I said, Katie, you need to see this high school teacher. I
Oh
think
my
it'll give you some
gosh.
ideas. And we took her there, and that helped her kind of visualize
Yeah.
what it would look like.
It was
So,
very
that's
impressive.
neat.
I thought it was
So
really
see that one teacher?
Yeah, that was awesome. All right, specifically considering our school and community, do you feel that the vision statement sufficiently addresses the challenges that our campus faces, and how?
I do. We are a Title I and a bilingual campus. So, what we know that research says about the type of students that we serve is that if they're economically disadvantaged, they're this, and this is going to be an issue. And if they're second language learner, here are the things that are going to, not be so well. And really at Stewart, we've kind of taken the mindset of no matter who walks in our doors, we're going to serve them.
Right.
But we've had to be flexible in that. We can't have classrooms that look traditional or that say everybody take out the same textbook and read the
Right.
same text. And so when our teachers were writing that, this particular mission and vision, they knew like, okay, it can't just be personalized learning because that's a word. We really have to look at what level of reading are kids on. In math, everybody's not at the same level. How are we going to
Right.
address those kind of things and really make it meaningful? The core values part was something that we really felt like, in general, kids need to know, but we know
Mhm.
that our parents are very busy. They're working multiple jobs, or they're not at home when kids get home.
Right.
And so we need to be helping them learn those core values. And then that positive relationship. So sometimes we are the only positive smile that they see. At home, they do experience trauma and hollering and screaming and abuse. And so we want to try to reverse that. And when they walk into these doors, they'll be really safe. And then also help parents realize they are welcome here. No matter if you don't speak English, if it's you are a Spanish speaker or you are rich or poor, we want you to
Right.
feel welcome and to be a part. And so really when you think about our 3 major components, it's trying to help build a stronger community and then really just for our kids long term. Because
Right.
sometimes you say you should know better. Well, sometimes they don't know better. All they
Right.
experience at home is hollering and fighting or, irresponsible behaviors. And so, teaching has become much more than just math, science, and social studies. It's
Right.
become developing the whole child. Right, so,
And I love with the core values how they're thinking about it. They're looking for situations where they can be helpful and be caring and be trustworthy. And then now they're noticing when other kids are doing
Right.
that. I really
Yeah.
love that. Definitely. Do you feel that our written vision statement is inclusive and characterized by respect for students, their families, and community partnerships, and how?
I do. Some of the things, that we've included in just the way that we do things is we make sure that when we send, so that positive relationship part, and it talks about collaboration and communication. So we ensure that when we send things home, it's in both languages.
Right.
We don't want, because you're not literate in English, for it to be a hindrance for your child to join a club or to know what's going on the next upcoming month for the school calendar or the PTA newsletter. And so I have a team of 4 teachers who translate for us. We do pay them using our title funding, but that is, to me, one example of us making sure that we are including, our parents.
Right.
And we try to make sure that even those calls that we make on the call-out system, so I say them in English, our assistant principal says them in Spanish, and then that way, they're able to
Right.
get that. And then thinking about, I think the other part you asked was about community partnerships. And so for me, it takes effort to make those connections. And so because I've been here for 10 years, I've been able to reach out, and our mayor joined PTA.
Oh, wow.
A lot of schools can't say that, but
Right.
he really believes in what we're doing. And so when you think about our specific vision, they just want to know, okay, how can we help you? And so we have our Leaders Make Readers program. And so all of those, the Elks, Lions, and we have city council members who are a part of that. But it's because I've given them a specific thing. Hey, here's a great way you can help our campus.
Right.
Because sometimes they just need to know a direct, specific way.
Right.
With the recent hurricane, they all have reached out, what can we do? And so, I've given them specific items. We need a size 10 boy shoe. The next thing I know, it's waiting in the front office.
That's
So we have a
great.
great community, but you have to really, connect with them. And so that takes an effort on our part.
Right, definitely. And the last question is, how can others assist our campus with the stewardship of our vision?
So to me, this is really encompassing. So it's not just here at Stewart. Well, teachers, we have the hardest working teachers in the whole wide world, but it goes beyond that. And so when we think about parents' involvement in that and moving our vision forward, it just takes lots of conversations. So I mentioned earlier that I attend those PTA meetings, not just the general meetings, but also like their board meeting, their executive
Right.
board meetings. And so I can kind of help them when they're making decisions about what's the next thing. And
Right.
for example, at the last meeting, they said, what about fundraising? And I asked them, can you please hold off? Right now is not the right time to be asking parents for money. And then I asked them, when you think about the shirt for PTA for this year, can we think about a low-cost shirt? In the past, they've done the cute, like, baseball sleeves. Well, that raises, the price to $20 a shirt. Well,
Right.
people are not in the position to do that. So, to me, it's just working together with them. And then the component about the core values, so as your committee last year that you were on leading that's, when you guys made the form that goes home to parents. So it's getting them involved. So when a kid comes home now and says, hey, I'm on yellow or purple, yellow doesn't mean, oh, it was a warning, which was our old traditional system. And so hopefully, we're getting parents to change their conversations too, like, oh, wow, purple citizenship, what did you do today? So we're hoping, that it can go out in other avenues besides just our teachers. Our teachers work really hard. They do a great job of making sure all this is living and breathing in our schools.
Right.
But when we think about our community and parents, and even you mentioned earlier that kid component. So they're buying into it now and they're saying, oh, she was kind. She showed me kindness today and caring because she such and such. So we're hearing it come from our kids too. So it can't just be my vision or your vision because we're staff members here, but it's got to breathe through the kids and the parents, and then also the community members.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for taking the time, Dr. Moses, to meet
All
with
right,
me.
absolutely.
All right. Thank you, Mrs. Golightly, for meeting with me. And if you could just tell us about what your position is on campus.
I'm a third grade English language arts teacher.
Awesome. And then, can you tell me what our campus vision statement is? Just even in your own words is fine.
Yeah, to me, the campus vision statement is a statement that holds our campus administrators and teachers accountable every single day that we are teaching the students. It ensures our students are provided with the best possible learning experience in a successful environment.
Very good. Thank you. And does our campus have a written vision statement?
Yes, I was actually on the committee that wrote the vision statement.
Oh,
We were
nice.
very particular in the exact words that we chose to fully encompass the meaning that we wanted representing the vision of our school.
Very cool. I didn't know that you were on the
Yeah.
committee. That worked out.
It was actually my very first year of teaching. So I was like, sure, I'll sign up. Like,
Wow.
this is fun. We have a
That's
vision.
really- Yeah, and you guys
That's cool.
you did a great job because I love the wording that you guys
Yeah,
did.
that
very
took
awesome.
like Merriam-Webster to like the fullest
Yeah.
extent of the law with like all of us with coffee.
Yes.
It was all day long, like
Wow.
7:30 actually to like 4. So
Wow, because it's very clear, it's very understandable.
Mhm.
So that's funny because you already know a lot about what I'm
Yeah, so
talking
this
about.
is- yeah.
Nice.
Very passionate about it. Like,
And who do you feel should be involved in reviewing or developing a written campus vision statement? Since you were part of that whole process, who do you feel should be involved in?
yeah, any administrator or teacher who has a clear vision for our school and has the success of our students at the foremost of their heart.
Very cool. And I think it's great to just get like a variety of people involved because we all have different perspectives, teachers and administrators. And
It was kind of neat, me
Yeah.
being a first-year teacher coming from the outside world. I was like, well, I can bring you have to have a vision for everything you do, life in general. you know.
Right.
So I brought that to the table, kind of an outsider's view on it, take on it. And then you had, our Dr. Moses, who's been administrating for forever and a teacher.
Right.
And a lot of seasoned teachers and newer teachers. It was a nice dichotomy of people.
right. And so you went from the workforce to teaching.
Mhm.
So that definitely brought a different
Yeah.
perspective. Very cool. And do you think that the development of a campus vision is a shared responsibility? And who do you think shares that responsibility?
Yes, we all have to work together to accomplish the goal of the vision. No one teacher can do it by themselves.
Right.
I believe it begins with the administration leading and encouraging the way, definitely. Their example feeds into the teachers, and then the teachers help carry out the vision in the classroom.
Right, and I love how Dr. Moses just kind of motivates us, and she includes us in a lot of
Yeah.
it. And so there's buy-in where we're motivated to follow, and she kind of encompasses it in different things that we do.
Yeah,
It's
she's
very
like
cool.
right there along with us. It's not like,
Yes.
okay, I'm telling you to do this, go do it. It's
Right.
the leaders of our school, even all our coaches, and
Right.
everybody is kind of along the way with you.
Right, and it's not like it's her idea and we must follow it.
Right.
It's, we had a team that came up with it, and she's, just using us as a team to work together towards a common goal.
Yeah.
So that's very cool. What do you feel that the vision statement means? Or you could even be, what do you feel that it means to you personally? What do you feel that it means to school? However you want to direct that is fine.
Yeah, I feel it means that we have a safe and nurturing environment with the best interest in mind for our students, and we provide specifically what they need to succeed.
Very cool.
And then communicating that idea to the parents,
Right.
because they don't understand our education
jargon.
Right.
So it's kind of
Right.
clearly also, this is what our vision is, here it is in your language. And
Right.
it's total parent buy-in once they understand that we're doing this for the student. It's all about the
Right.
kid. It's not about the teacher, it's not about the parent, it's about the child. And once they kind of have that understanding, you can all flow together. And
Right.
what I've found.
And I think with our character emphasis, especially, I know we're sending home positive reinforcement on were they trustworthy, were they caring, what did we notice, and I think that's really helping parents understand our character emphasis that we're doing. So that's really cool. And the kids are excited about it
Yeah.
and they're talking. Good. Do you know where a student, faculty member, or parent can get a copy of our written vision statement?
It's on our website.
And I love how it's like front and center.
Right there.
Yeah. And
The
then
mission of LeMay Stewart Elementary.
right. And it's clear, and you guys did a great job writing it. And then I love how the core values are right underneath. And in my interview with Dr. Moses, she even mentioned about possibly putting it just in a PDF that's available to parents, putting it on the newsletter, different things like that. So that's awesome.
I think we tried to also follow our district's example, so that they're again the leaders leading and then
Right.
going down.
Right.
Because on our Clear Creek ISD website, there's our mission, like for
Right.
the whole district.
Exactly. How does the campus use innovative thinking as a learning experience to promote the campus vision?
I like this part a lot because I try to think outside the box in my classroom.
Yes.
So this frees up teachers to use research-based material to execute in their classroom.
Right.
Like our campus specifically, I believe, uses innovative thinking as a learning experience to promote the campus vision by executing research-based practices in each classroom. We're not afraid to try out our outside-the-box thinking, whether it be differentiated seating for students with specific places to sit that they need,
Right.
or the differentiated instruction. We must reach every student and set goals based on specific needs and learning styles.
Right.
So, like, students that have trouble writing, I don't want to, look at their paper and say, this is your final product because you don't enjoy writing. I'm going to grade you on this.
Right.
If they're more of, I want to sit and talk to you and tell you what I know, well, they know the material, so
Right.
you're not judging, I guess, like, what they are, their strengths. You can
Right.
help them to start to love writing, but if I'm asking you a specific question, do you know the material? There's many ways that you can go about getting your answer.
Yes. And I love that we're encouraged to think out of the
Yeah.
box. I know like some teachers are doing the flexible seating
Mhm.
and we've started the classroom meetings for character, which each teacher has their own little twist on it, on how
Mhm.
they want to do it. So yeah, I definitely love the creative thinking that we have. Very cool. Specifically considering our school and community, how do you feel that the vision statement sufficiently addresses the challenges that our campus faces, and how?
We have a different kind of dichotomy of students
Mhm.
in our school.
Yes.
It ranges from each spectrum.
Right.
We must be in constant communication with the parents. I think is a huge deal. The success of our students is driven by teachers and parents. There must be mutual respect, and each party needs to know that the best interest of their child is in mind with all the decisions that we make in the classroom.
Right.
The needs of the physical needs of the students, I believe, are met by the community.
Mhm.
When there's a need, we let them know, and then once the physical needs are met by the community, then we can meet their educational needs and their emotional needs.
Right.
So it there again fosters that safe learning environment.
And I think like even in recent events with the hurricane, we've had a lot of community involvement where they're like, how can I help?
Mhm.
We've had people bring school supplies and people donate shoes and clothing. And so that's been really cool to kind of see the school and the community come together.
Yeah, and we were even able to, like during the hurricane, for example, we of course took care of our students that
Right.
live in our neighborhoods, but we also took care of community members that
Yes, I know.
didn't have any kids,
Right.
in our school, or maybe they had them several years ago, or it just kind of didn't matter. It let the community know that the school is here for you.
Mhm.
We need you to be on board with
our school.
Right. I did find that really cool because we were dispersed into trucks, and we had water, and we had food and snacks and supplies and blankets and cots, and we went door to door. We didn't care if they had a student at our school or not. We just went door to door and said, "We're from Stewart Elementary.
Mhm.
How can we help?" And I think their response was really good.
They were kind of like the ones that because we went to one of the neighborhoods back there, an older neighborhood
Right.
population. And it was so sweet, though. A lot of them were like, "No, you give them to families that need them." Like, "No, really, this is for you.
Right.
Please take it."
Right.
We had an abundance of things to give them. It was neat how that worked.
It's very, very cool. I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
Do you feel that our written vision statement is inclusive and characterized by respect for students, their families, and community partnerships, and how?
Yes. We have many communication tools in place. Everything we send out is in both languages. There are phone calls, emails, text, like overkill,
Right.
and events about events and important dates that our school provides for the kids.
Definitely.
Teachers are in constant communication with parents and with students. That we hold the students accountable for the goals that we all set together. The students,
Right.
it's not a secret. We're going to sit and talk with your parents about this.
Right.
Do you have anything
Right.
that you'd like me to discuss with your parent? It's all together. It's not a secret. The student doesn't
Right.
know what they're supposed to be learning or doing. The parents are open typically, with the
Mhm.
student, and they
Mhm.
communicate back to the teacher. They know we all work together,
Right.
type thing, and
Right.
that's nice.
And I think it's really neat how our staff just goes above and beyond, like parents that maybe don't have access to the internet or don't have
Yeah.
access to computers. I've seen them come into our computer lab, and
Mhm.
teachers are helping them through whatever forms or registration process they need to go through.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool how our school works together with the
Mhm.
languages, with socioeconomic
Yeah.
differences as well.
Even with the curriculum,
Mhm.
we'll have the curriculum nights, or even like during carnival or STEM activities where the parent is alongside the child learning
Right.
a particular teacher or
Right.
whatever we're doing, and they have hands-on experience. You have the teacher there explaining, "This is what we're learning in class," and then the parents doing the experiment or the activity with the
Right.
child.
I love
really neat.
that. And I think we had STEM Saturdays last
Uh-huh.
year where families could come together
Yeah.
over science.
Mhm.
That was very cool too. All right, and then my last question for you is, how can others assist our campus with the stewardship of our vision? I think it's referring to possibly community or parents. Like, how do you think other people can help us with our vision?
Just allowing us, in their places of business, for instance, choir.
Right.
Home Depot opens up their doors to let our choir
Mhm.
kids go sing, or Wendy's, and they're excited about it. Chick-fil-A, provides a lot of opportunities for our parents to have, the dine out nights.
Right.
Every
right.
couple of months, where then they donate they donate their money
Right.
to us.
Exactly.
That's really neat. So it seems that the businesses around here,
Mhm.
even the mayor, he's very involved with a lot that we do. We ask him, how can we help our community? And he's always, how can we help your school?
Right.
Type thing. It's
Right.
kinda
And
neat.
I recently heard that he actually joined our PTA.
Really?
Yes, our mayor.
That's
And
cool.
So that's really cool. And I know businesses are just coming to us saying, what can we do to help with the hurricane? And Dr. Moses will be like, size 10 shoes for boy.
Mhm.
And then they'll just show up in our office ready to go. And
Yeah.
so it's been really, really cool to see how all that has come together.
Yeah, even the Kohl's closet that they're
Yes.
doing. Like, instead of going to Target this year, Kohl's was like, we'll provide
Wow.
for the kids.
That
So
is amazing.
whatever student needs, clothing, they'll go and pair up with a
Right.
teacher and then shop Kohl's,
That is amazing.
Yeah.
I know our kids love that, and some families just desperately
Yeah, oh yeah.
need that. So thank you so much
You're
for
welcome.
letting
Thanks
me
for asking me.
interview you. I
Yeah.
hope you have a great day.
Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Eckington, for agreeing to interview with me and
Of
taking
course.
time out of your schedule. If you could just tell us your name, which I already probably just said, and then what you teach on campus.
Okay, my name is Leah Effington and I teach second grade here at Stewart Elementary.
Awesome. And can you tell me a little bit about our vision statement at Stewart?
Yes, so at Stewart, a big part of our mission statement is to have an innovative, positive learning environment that creates leaders that are self-thinkers, that can be authentic and think on their own and go into the world and create things on their own.
Yes, definitely. And I see that a lot in your classroom, just with different things that you do with the kids. So, very cool. And does our campus have a written vision statement that you know of?
Yes, we do, and it's on the website.
Okay.
And I know a lot of people that got together to create that. I think it was our CIIC committee.
Okay.
And I believe we also got into groups to kind of dissect our vision statement. It's been a few years now.
Okay.
And so the campus is all kind of aware of that statement and how we,
Very cool.
in our day-to-day.
So it was like a team effort of them getting together and coming up with it.
Right.
Very awesome.
And then they presented it and everybody sort of got feedback and so.
Okay. Nice. And this may go into this next question. Who do you feel should be involved in reviewing or developing a campus vision statement? And you already kind of answered that a little bit.
I think teachers that have the time to really zoom in and think about word choice and how to really, you want a short phrase, but also to encapsulate all the things that,
Right.
the vision of your school. So definitely teachers that have time and administrators so that they're on the same page. And then also, I think getting the feedback from the entire, all teachers, everybody in the school, because it'd be silly to do it and then have the teachers be unaware of
Right.
sort of that zoomed in phrase on this is what our campus represents.
Right, and just to have it somewhere and nobody really be living it
Right,
out.
and we actually have a paper that it says at Stewart we, and it's like at Stewart we, you know, we're everywhere, we monitor students everywhere, so it kind of threads the vision statement into little phrases that we do
Right.
at Stewart that are really very cool, like at Stewart we give students choices, at Stewart we, so just kind of, and we all have it on our wall, so
Right.
it's kind of a reminder for all teachers.
Yeah, definitely. And I think Dr. Moses goes over that like the first week of school. So
Mhm.
we're all on the same
Right.
sheet and we're all unified and all of that.
Yeah,
Really
definitely.
cool. Let's see. Do you think that the development of a campus vision is a shared responsibility, which you kind of already touched on? And who shares the responsibility?
I think everybody on the campus shares a responsibility to make sure that we are sort of living by that. I think the district definitely plays a part in that, in the guidelines for what we're teaching students and how we're teaching students and
Mhm.
resources that are given to the teachers. And so I think it's goes all the way up to the district level.
Right.
As far as being involved and having it be, it's all of our responsibility to not only create it, but then also implement it and live by it and hold each other
Definitely.
accountable.
Definitely. Very good. What do you feel the vision statement means? Maybe what does it mean to you? What does it mean to our campus? However you want to answer that.
I think, as I mentioned earlier, it's creating a safe learning environment. I think we know that students that feel safe can then learn, so it's creating those meaningful relationships. But then also giving them choices. We do a lot of voice and choice in the classroom with our station menus where students are able to, you're sort of giving them, 3 awesome choices that you want them to do to promote learning
Right.
where they are, but they feel like they're directing what they have more fun doing in that learning situation. So I think that lets the students become accountable for their own learning, and that's so powerful because one day they're not going to have teachers and they have to be self-motivated. And
Right.
so I think it's really promoting, to me, the vision statement is promoting, as I mentioned earlier, like authentic thinking, innovation, where students are held accountable and they can set goals for themselves and then eventually go off into the world and do that. And I
That's
think-
great. Definitely, because we want them to be able to think for themselves. And I
Right.
know like a lot of companies nowadays are saying we want people that can think out of the box and that
Right.
can have innovative thinking.
Right, and it pops in my head, you know, our campus is so wonderful at trying different things, be it, you know, preferential seating, with lots of teachers on our campus have, you know, different places for the students to sit where they're most comfortable learning. I know my middle schooler, I mean, he is a mover. And so at Bayside, he loves being able to sit on the couch, or, I mean, I think it's awesome for students to have that type of choice, especially for students who move.
Right.
So it's little things like that that really you're looking at what's gonna push each individual child.
Right.
And so I think at Stewart in our science lab with hands-on, everything is, you know, we don't just read about like force, we're gonna roll things down and watch it. They've seen it, they've touched it, they felt it. And so students are given that opportunity to just have learning in just all these various ways. And I think that's something we do really well here at Stewart. I'm biased, but
Yeah, definitely.
So.
That's awesome. Let's see, do you know where a student, faculty member, or parent can get a copy of our written campus vision statement?
well, it's on the website, so they could definitely
Okay.
get it there. And I'm sure if they asked the front office, they would happily print it for them.
Cool. And when I was interviewing Dr. Moses, she definitely mentioned that it might be a good idea now that we've done this interview to even put it like on our newsletter, on the PTA newsletter, and just different things like that. So that'd be really cool
That
for
would be.
everybody to see it. How does the campus use innovative thinking, which you already kind of touched on, as a learning experience to promote the campus vision?
Well, I think sort of the things I've already mentioned, but really anything that's an idea that's brought to the table, and I think this goes from our leadership, our administration down. Our principal, is willing to try.
Right.
In fact, I just emailed her about this Seesaw app where you can take pictures of students' work and they can take pictures of their work and log it. And it's expensive to get this second little portion of it that actually tracks all the progressions, and it color codes like what students have mastered what. And so I emailed her this long email, and she was like, let me get on it. Let's see what we need to do. You know, I'll talk with so-and-so, or maybe it's going to involve writing a grant. But anything that's ever brought, more, two heads are better than one. Well, I feel like our whole campus is utilized. We all, value each other as professionals, and it's very powerful that anything that's brought up, for the most part, if it's going to be kids learning and kids growing, we have so much support. It's like, let's try it.
Right.
And I think that's just really supports our vision statement, because learning never ends and education's always changing, and
Right.
what we know about kids and growth is always changing. So I think that's the biggest thing, is that we are just always trying. If a kid doesn't get something, we collaborate, and we use each other as resources. We use, different manipulatives as resources.
Right.
So I think our campus does a good job of that.
Definitely, I would totally agree that we try new things, and our leadership is very supportive. Very cool. Specifically considering our school and community, do you feel that the vision statement sufficiently addresses the challenges that our campus faces? And if you could just maybe elaborate on that.
I do. I think, again, biased, our campus is really wonderful at having multiple opportunities to bring parents and community together.
Right.
Just from, we do a science STEM on Saturdays sometimes, and it's kids can come in with their parents and show them what they're doing. And from GUARD, we have a Green Apple Day, was just this last Friday, where students can come and maybe have experiences that they might not have at home, and their parents don't have to do anything but just show up. And the resources are here, all the materials, if it's making something in science, or if it's gardening, like everything's here, they just show up and enjoy each other. And,
Right.
and I think that really connects with our vision in bringing the community into our backyard of our school.
Right.
There's so much going on at the school. Movie night, just where it brings families together, because a lot of times it's hard to map that out at home. And so
Right.
to be able to come back up to the school with your students, it's really neat to see that, because you see parents and children bonding that they wouldn't have had if they just went home that night.
Right.
And so I think that's something that pops out that's a good example of.
Right. definitely. And in light of like the recent hurricane, I know you were involved in just helping round up supplies, and the community got involved with passing out supplies to
Yes.
Stewart families, and
Yes,
and that was really cool.
That was really cool, and it was neat to see the families and families that even, just families in our community that might not be zoned to our district, but
Right.
just that we're so, there's just the outpouring of love, and it just connected everyone. And our students got such an understanding of humanity and selflessness, and but our teachers rallied together, and we blood, sweat, and tears for days, just how can we get out in the community, and how can we, even if it was seeing a student and smiling and giving them crayons, like something to distract them from the fact that their house is completely flooded.
Right.
And everything they own in the backyard, or in the front yard. So it is definitely, it's been a learning experience for the students, and has brought our community together, and I think made it even stronger, and made our school community even stronger.
Mhm.
So definitely.
Yes. Awesome. Do you feel that our written vision statement is inclusive and characterized by respect for students, their families, and community partnerships? And if you could elaborate.
Yes, I think our school, we have a very unique campus in that we have, the dual language program, and so everything that's sent out to the parents is in English and Spanish. And if it's a call out, to the families, or if it's a presentation at the school, it's always the greetings, everything's given in English and in Spanish. And I think that just makes everybody feel at home, like we're one family at Stewart. And I think just Stewart does a good job of that, and we reach out into the community in a lot of ways. I know, like even in choir, like you guys go to the Kima and do your songs, and I mean, I just think we truly, without saying you bloom or you're planted, like Stewart's here, and it blooms out all around our surrounding area, and I guess, I don't know, as far as partnerships goes, I don't know.
Right, and I think our school is very just in touch with the homes of these students, and just like maybe they don't have a computer, so we let them come and use our computer for registration or whatever.
Right.
And just being like, just opening our eyes to their needs.
Right, definitely. And I
So-
think we, especially if we have any sort of, curriculum night, or a night where they come and they do games, like we have all the materials ready for them to go home, take home and play. And if it's math games to help them, it's, we'll put the cubes, like we'll send those materials home, like you were saying.
Right.
So.
Very awesome. How can others assist our campus with the stewardship of our vision? So I think that's kind of tying what you talked earlier about the community and different things. So how do you think others can assist with our stewardship of our vision?
I think others support us a lot in our vision, and know that what Stewart represents just by its reputation, and they want to give, and they want to come and donate books, or they want to come, like the Elks Club comes and they, donate dictionaries for our second graders every year. And so I think we have a lot of support from outside coming in. Even within the district, I know, like when the kids are going to go to Bayside comes here, and they pump the kids up and get them ready, so it's a smooth transition. And I just think, everybody that knows Stewart knows that what our vision is, and they help us a lot through, even if it's, we have like our PALS program, or, we just have a lot of people in and out of the door that are impacting. We have our Watchdog program, where like parents are coming in, and that's supporting our vision, because some of our students may not have a male role model, and so our vision is for our kids to feel safe and feel nurtured, and sometimes having that male role model come in and work one-on-one, or come out into the hall and read, that student's then on this whole level ready to learn, having that attention and support. So there's a lot of outside, I'm sure I could think of a lot more, but those are the few that come to mind.
Definitely. And I hadn't even thought about the PALS and the Watchdog program, so that's very true. We have a lot of different moving pieces of people helping us with our vision.
Yeah.
Very true. And our last question, and thank you so much for taking the time to let me interview you today. are there resources available that could possibly assist with our vision? I know that's kind of a tricky question.
Well, from like a Title I standpoint, like funding,
Yeah,
or
just
I know,
anything.
yes, I don't know the names of everything. I know we get, so like the last 3 years I've done Girls on the Run, and we get people, there's certain money that's allocated for snacks that, for the
Okay.
club, or, but when I think of resources, I think of even our curriculum. Like we have some
Yeah.
amazing resources in our curriculum.
Definitely.
Different online things like STEM scopes where, students can, we're doing properties, and so they're like dragging and dropping, what's
Okay.
texture, what's flexibility, and like that can go on the smart board and they can actually like move things. And so we have a lot of resources that support innovative, kids. And we have,
definitely.
I know we have our clubs at Stewart, I'm sure, I don't know if anyone's talked about that, but like our STEM club and our robotics club, and I mean, I don't know if that counts as resources,
Yeah.
but like there's just a lot out there that's supporting our students learning at their highest level.
Right, and resources could be people.
Right,
It doesn't have
right.
to be monetary necessarily. So, very awesome. Thank you again, Ms. Etherington.
You're welcome.
Hello, this is the post-activity reflection. As far as the development of a vision, the teachers were both aware of the campus vision statement, and one of the teachers was even on the committee that revised it last spring. And of course, the principal was aware of the campus vision because she was the main person involved in getting the development of it started. And everyone in my interviews was also aware of the written vision statement as well as where to find it. They knew that it was on our website and that it was displayed front and center for everybody to find it that was looking for it. And they were both able to summarize it accordingly. They knew the basic components of it, they knew where to find it, and they knew that it was integrated into everything that we did this year as a campus. The teachers were first introduced to the campus vision plan their very first week at Stewart Elementary. Both of these teachers have actually been at Stewart Elementary for probably 2 to 3 years, and their very first week at our school, they were introduced to the campus vision plan and are introduced to it again each year as it is revised. Then each year our principal talks about it the first week of school, and it's basically interwoven into everything we do the rest of the year. At several different staff meetings, we continue to revisit the key ideas of the vision statement, and much of our professional development is in regards to the vision statement. So basically everything we do as a campus, that is kind of the center. And everything we do with regards to professional development and with regards to just different things that we're implementing in our classroom, it all has to do with our campus vision. Everyone in the interview agreed that the campus vision should be a shared process where the staff, the parents, and the community members are all involved. And as a result, they all have ownership over the process, which is great because then there's more buy-in, there's more motivation. Everybody is on the same page and they're on the same team moving in the same direction, which is great. As far as the articulation of the vision, they all agreed and were in alignment with many of the things they mentioned in the interviews. Our school vision involves creating a safe learning environment, voice and choice for our students, personalizing their learning, goal setting in the classroom, and developing creative, self-motivated, independent students who represent the core values in all that they do. The vision statement can be found on our school website. It's front and center on our page. It's very easy to find. Our core values are listed right underneath our vision. My principal also mentioned in the interview that she would like to post it on our school newsletter, our PTA newsletter, and our It's Learning platform that our students and teachers use as well. In all of the interviews, they mentioned this one key point when it came to innovative thinking. At our school, we have several teachers right now that are trying out the flexible seating in their classroom. The students have freedom and flexibility to experiment with different seating situations based on their particular needs. And it's been very, very successful. The students love it. Depending on what they need at that particular time, they have choices on whether they want to sit in a chair, whether they want to sit in a beanbag, whether they want to sit on a stool, and whether they want a high table or a low table, or whether they don't want a table at all. And it has been a great way for our students to express themselves, to individualize their learning, to help themselves be better students. Many have difficulty concentrating, and so having a seat that maybe has a little more movement to it has been really good for them. And the teachers have gone over procedures and how to make this an effective learning tool in their classroom. And it's very, very cool to see just the innovation and how the kids are responding to it. My principal also mentioned that even in pre-K, they're using goal setting. And I know a lot of times we think that maybe that would work with the older kids, but it actually has been great in pre-K because when they go to their learning stations, they have check-in sheets and they have to actually check off what they accomplished at the station. And then the teacher discusses, did you accomplish what you set out to accomplish? Did you meet your goal? Of course, they talk about what a goal is, and it's just been very successful for our school, but I thought it was really cool to see that even the pre-K students are incorporating it into their classroom. As far as the implementation of a vision for these interviews, yes, they all agreed that the campus vision statement addresses our particular needs as a campus. Because we are Title I, bilingual, and economically disadvantaged, the core values are extremely important. Many of our students are only receiving character development at school. They're only receiving voice and choice at our school. They're only receiving our goal setting. Their home lives are sometimes very difficult, and they don't get to experience those things. And it has definitely brought us together as a community. Yes, our vision statement is inclusive. Everything we do at Stewart Elementary is in 2 languages. So whether it is written communication or automated phone messages or emails, it goes out in 2 languages, which is very inclusive to our Spanish and English speaking families. We work very hard to include the entire student and parent population into everything that we do. There's even times you'll hear in some of the interviews where there are families that don't have internet or they don't have computer access. So our school opens up the computer lab to them to kind of help them with registration or with whatever they need to do. My principal also mentioned that because our vision reaches the entire community, it's been really cool because community members that have nothing to do with our school, they don't have children at our school, they're not married to teachers, they're not teachers, they're not any kind of staff, but just community members are joining our PTA to help us with our vision. And what's really cool is our mayor of our town has even joined our PTA. So I thought that was extremely exciting. The stewardship of the vision, others can join the vision by, of course, joining PTA and volunteering at our school. Through Hurricane Harvey, we were able to partner with the community to help those in need. And I'm sorry. You'll see in the interviews that we were able to join together and deliver water and supplies, and it was just really good. It was really good to see the community and the school come together, and it's been really good for our students. As far as what went well, I really loved how each interview started out as an interview, but then shortly after, it turned into a conversation. And I was actually kind of nervous about it. Then, as we're going along with the interview, it turns into a conversation, and it's just a conversation on videotape. And that was really cool to kind of see that happen. And I actually started to enjoy the process a lot more. What would I change? I guess I would have liked for my panel to have been more diverse. I would have liked to incorporate maybe an upper elementary and a younger elementary, and then maybe a monolingual teacher as well as a bilingual teacher, maybe a classroom teacher or a specialist type of teacher. Just more diversity in who I chose. The teachers I chose did a great job, but because there was a time constraint on my part as well as the teacher's part, I ended up interviewing teachers that both have student teachers right now because it gave them the flexibility to leave their classroom. Many teachers have responsibilities after school. As a music teacher, I do after-school music clubs, which usually take me until 5 or 5:30 at night. And I have extra rehearsals after school where many of the teachers have already left the building by then. So that's kind of the challenge with my personal schedule is it's just hard to hook up with them at that point. So having student teachers in the building and being able to use those teachers to meet with me during my lunch or my conference time was very beneficial. The surprising information that I didn't know about one of the teachers was that Mrs. Golightly, who was one of the people I interviewed, was actually on the committee that helped revise the mission statement, the vision, last spring, and I actually didn't even know that till I was interviewing her. So that was kind of unique, and it was very cool to just kind of see that unfold through the interview process. This experience will transform me as a future administrator by making me aware that the campus vision is important and it needs to be part of everything we do. And it's interwoven into our professional development. It's interwoven into our teaching. It's interwoven into the way that we lead and the way that we plan our staff meetings, and just everything we do is just part of it. And I also understand the importance of shared responsibility and how it's not just about the administrator leading the school, but it's about bringing all the teachers on board with you, valuing their opinion, treating them as people is very important, and just working together as a team towards a common goal. It's not just something for the administrator to tell us that's important, and just for all of us to believe that person and not really take our own value and ownership into the process. But it's been really a great experience just watching our school all get on the same train, move towards the same goal. We're all in, and we're all motivated to help get our campus where it needs to be with our vision. And it's just been a very valuable experience. Thank you.